My name is Kiran. I'm a student finishing my undergraduate degree in biochemistry here at UBC. And I was invited to present by Simon on the student perspective on flexible learning. So as mentioned by the last speaker, this is a very difficult task, and I apologize if I end up talking too fast or skipping some of my slides, but I think I should get some course credit for this. So I am the Vice President Academic and University Affairs for the AMS. So my day job, evening job / weekend job is to try my best to represent the views of students on multiple issues that the university brings to the attention of the AMS. And I try to qualify every opinion I give to the university in that I am one student, and I try my best to try to engage students like I did to prepare this presentation today. So I tried to look at some of the data that we collect as the AMS and the university collects around students and talk to as many students as I could to try to figure out what students think about flexible learning. So you've seen a little bit about what flexible learning looks like in the classroom from some of the previous presenters. But what I'm here to talk about today is what students view flexible learning as what it means to them. And so for students, flexible learning presents an opportunity to engage in some active dialogue that will potentially result in some change in the university about how learning happens and what we want to see changed around learning at UBC. Believe it or not, students do talk about the way in which courses could be improved, but that generally tends to happen after a midterm exam or a final exam, and it's usually over a pitcher in the pit. There's not a lot of opportunities for us to really evaluate our courses and provide suggestions for improvements. We do teacher evaluations, but we don't really do course evaluations and don't really have an opportunity to provide that feedback on a continuous basis. And flexible learning provides an opportunity for us to take all that feedback we wanted to give for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years and provide that in this forum that we have now. So what do students think about flexible learning? We think it's pretty awesome. In fact, we think we've been trying to hint the university towards more flexibility in the delivery, of course, and also the design of the university through some of the various mechanisms that have been proposed by the AMS and other students over the last few years. We already engage in flexible learning, we think, by accessing resources that supplement what we learn in the classroom, try to enhance what we do to prepare for assessments and to help better grasp course materials. So when I asked students what flexible learning should look like, they talked about all different aspects of the university. And the conversation shifted not just on what should happen in a classroom and what a classroom environment should look like, but they started to talk about what a flexible university looks like and what a flexible university experience looks like and how that all contributes to the learning environment. And so the question started to shift from what should flexible learning look like to what should flexibility look like in the university. And so a number of students, we know that students come to UBC for a variety of reasons. In fact, we ask students when they first enter UBC, what do you want to gain out of your university experience? And we as a university have strategic plans that outline what we want our students to leave with and what we want them to learn. We want them to become engaged global citizens. We want them to practice sustainability in everything they do. But there isn't really that overlap between what are the students' goals of coming to university, what is the university trying to instill in students, and how can we start to incorporate those things into the learning outcomes that we provide in the classroom. And for a lot of students, when I ask them, can you describe a flexible learning experience that you've had to me, they pointed to things that happened outside of the classroom, learning that they took part in through activities that they engaged in outside of the classroom, be it AMS clubs, be it leadership opportunities within the university or outside of the university. And we know that learning is not just content that you learn in a classroom, but it's also the way that you apply and the way you apply your experiences to learning. And so for students, flexible learning provides an opportunity to start to take those external experiences and really enrich the entire learning opportunities for students by integrating external learning and classroom learning to make for a holistic learning experience. Another key point that came up was that there needs to be more flexibility in the way that the package of the degree is designed. So right now, a lot of students feel that they're very restricted by the way that the degree is designed, the way that degrees are designed, or the way that they have to select courses to complete academic requirements. And this also provides an opportunity to think about why the package exists in the way that it does, and what are ways that we can start to make that more flexible so students can start to gain the experiences they want out of their university career. So another exciting thing that came out of conversations is that students view flexible learning as an opportunity to engage in dialogues where they can be part of the rebuilding or redesigning or reimagining of courses. And that's very important to students because we want to start to see courses that are built around what students want to learn and how students want to engage with material, and that, be it from the defining of learning outcomes to the actual assessments of courses. Students are really excited to be part of those discussions and be part of that opportunity to really reimagine how we deliver courses. That's my next slide. So students often use technology to accommodate their own learning styles, and we're told very often that students learn in different ways, but a lot of students don't feel like the university acknowledges that in the current state, and that one form of learning tends to be favored in the way that we deliver courses currently, and this provides an opportunity to not only acknowledge different learning styles, but also accommodate them in all the courses that we offer. Flexibility is about having choice. Some students will not necessarily buy into this model of a blended classroom or flexible learning, and that's okay. But there are students who will and who may not have the skills or resources to be able to engage in that learning right away. Especially for students in upper years who are used to learning in a certain way for their first and second years, it's very important that we provide the support and resources to help these students be successful in a new form of learning. And I think finally, another very exciting piece of flexible learning is to start to move towards a more accessible model of education where we consider universal design and making sure that as we become a more diverse and globally engaged university and our student body changes to reflect that we still are able to offer an education where all students can thrive regardless of their backgrounds. So if I had to sum up what flexible learning should look like at UBC, ask your students. I happen to be one student, and the AMS tries its best to reflect the views of students, but flexible learning is so discipline-specific, so year-level specific in some cases that we really want to try to engage as many students as possible. And in speaking to students, what will make the difference on whether flexible learning really changes the university culture, it's whether students are engaged from day one, and that's very important to us. So if you take one thing away, please talk to students and try to get their opinions on what you're doing from the beginning. Thank you.